Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Hope you're all doing well and doing great. Today we are back with another video and we are going to talk about the cell chapter, and we're going to talk about this is basically an O-level syllabus, and we're going to talk about the cell and organization of the organisms. In some books it is numbered as chapter 1, and in some book it is numbered as chapter 2. So it doesn't matter either it's number 1 or number 2. What does matter is to just make sure that you get all the points or you get all the ideas which you need to remember for your theoretical paper, to attempt your theoretical paper. Okay, let's jump into the video first. The cell is basically, what is a cell? What a cell gonna look like, or what is the function of the cell? So cell is the structural and functional unit of living organisms, and you might have a question about, if you haven't studied biology before, then what are the living organisms? Always remember, living organisms are those organisms which have the characteristics of Mrs. Gren. Yes, you heard me right. It's not a girl, it's not a boy, it's the characteristics of living organisms, Mrs. Gren. So M for movement, repeat it again. M for movement, R for respiration, S for sensitivity. Say it again, please. S for sensitivity. Sensitivity means that something related to the stimulus, and stimulus is any change in the external or the internal environment. G for growth, R for reproduction, E for excretion, and N for nutrition. Yes, all the living organisms can move, all the living organisms can respire, all the living organisms can grow, they can excrete, they can reproduce. So all these characteristics are present in the living organisms. And those organisms are considered as living. So living organisms are having the characteristics of Mrs. Gren, whereas the non-living characteristics does not have the characteristics of Mrs. Gren. They cannot reproduce, they cannot move, they cannot respire, they cannot do excretion. So it's going to be very simple. So organization of the organism, always remember, organisms can be unicellular, there can be multicellular organization, there is going to be the colonial organization. Unicellular organization means all those organisms which are made up of only one type of cell. They are not made up of any other type of cell, they are made up of only single type of cell, such as amoeba is named as unicellular organisms, and all those organisms which are made up of more than one type of cells are considered as multicellular organisms. And if we talk about the colonial organization, which lived in the form of the colony, but you have to focus on unicellular and multicellular, because all the living organisms, such as the plants, such as animals, such as humans, are made up of multicellular organization, are the multicellular organisms, because we are made up of more than one type of cells. Okay, hopefully this concept is clear to all of you. Let's jump into the next part. So if we're going to talk about the living organism, it means we're going to talk about us, we're going to talk about animals, we're going to talk about plant. Before going to study about the theory or the theoretical work, let's first have a look on the figure. But it shows us two types of cells. One is the animal cell and one is the plant cell. Some of organelles are present in both, and some of the organelles are present in only animal cell, and some of the organelles are only present in the plant cell. So make sure to keep that in your mind, that organelles which are present in the plant cell are in the animal cell, which are both present in both cell. Their function would be same. So make sure to focus at your first term. आप एक ही दफ़ा इसको रिमेंबर रखें, इसको मेमोराइज रखें, इसको अपनी मेमोरी में स्टोर रखें. So it's gonna be easier for you to adjust, to engulf that idea, to absorb that idea. So let's jump into the video. The outer boundary of a cell is basically called as the cell membrane. The other name of the cell membrane is the plasma membrane. Yes, you heard me right. Plasma membrane and the selective permeable membrane. Now, जब भी हमें किसी चीज़ को पढ़ना होता है, we must ensure कि हमें उसका फंक्शन पता हो. जैसे हम कोई मोबाइल खरीदते हैं तो हम देखते हैं कि इसकी क्या स्पेसिफिसिटी है, क्या इसकी फंक्शनैलिटी है. सो इसी तरह हम सेल मेम्ब्रेन की फंक्शनैलिटी को देखेंगे. That the function of the cell membrane is to allow some substances to enter or leave. ये अलाउ करती है कि कुछ सब्सटेंसेस, जो सब्सटेंसेस सेल को ज़रूरत है वो एंटर हो, और कुछ सब्सटेंसेस जिनकी सेल को ज़रूरत नहीं है उस सेल से लीव आउट हो जाए, एग्जिट हो जाए. So the function of the cell membrane is basically to enter or leave the cell. So the next, there is an organelle that is present in the center that is called as the nucleus. Nucleus is always present in the center, and the boundary line of the nucleus is called as the nuclear membrane. As the boundary line of a cell is called as the cell membrane, so the boundary line of the nucleus is called as the nuclear membrane. Okay, the function of the nucleus is basically to control all the activities of the cell or all the activities in the cell. तमाम की तमाम एक्टिविटीज़ जो सेल के अंदर हो रही हैं उन्हें कंट्रोल करने के लिए न्यूक्लियस मौजूद होता है. Because it contains DNA, it contains chromatin, thread-like structures, chromosomes. तो इसलिए the major function of the nucleus is to control all the activities that are occurring in the cell. You just have seen some lines or some structures that are just around the nucleus, and that structure is called as the endoplasmic reticulum. And the function of the endoplasmic reticulum is basically endoplasmic reticulum helps in different processes, but before going to discuss about its structure, we have to discuss that endoplasmic reticulum is of two types. One is called as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and one is called as the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It is a network of interconnected channels. You have you seen this? Have a look, please. Interconnected channels का ये network है और इसके two parts होते हैं. One is called as the rough endoplasmic reticulum and one is called as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in the detoxification of harmful chemicals, whereas it also helps in the formation of steroids as well as lipids. Whereas the rough endoplasmic reticulum contains ribosomes, which helps in the protein synthesis. Yes, you heard me right. Some proteins is already present in your body, and that protein is made by ribosomes. So wherever the ribosomes are present in the cell, that means they are forming protein. They are helping the protein synthesis. Some sort of protein is also present in the cell as well, which function is to make protein. And the rough endoplasmic reticulum R for rough and R for ribosomes. Some ribosomes are attached on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and their function is to make protein. Okay, I just missed one point, and that point is basically you have seen this clear solution, and that clear solution, light blue solution, is basically the cytoplasm. And the cytoplasm is the clear jelly-like solution which provides site to the organelles to perform the biochemical reaction, and it provides site to all the organelles to perform their function, to be over there and to. It's just like जैसे आप एक फिश के लिए एक बाउल रखते हैं और उसमें पानी डालते हैं दैट और उसके अंदर बाकी चीज़ें डालते हैं और उसके अंदर फिश फ्लोट कर रही होती हैं, तो वो जो वाटरी सोल्यूशन है, जेली लाइक सोल्यूशन है, कंसीडर इज जस्ट इमेजिन इज दैट इज द साइटोप्लाज्म, और उसके अंदर आपने बाकी सारी चीज़ें ऐड की हुई हैं ताकि वो अपने लिए इजीली स्पेस बनाकर रह सकें. सेम इज द केस विद द सेल. The jelly-like fluid and the transparent solution is called as the cytoplasm, which provides site for the biochemical processes. Okay, there are some other organelles are also present, such as the Golgi apparatus. Its function is to secrete vesicles, and that vesicle is work further like enzymes. And there is another major organelle that is called as the mitochondria. Yes, some people call this mitochondria, some people pronounce it as mitochondria. And the function of the mitochondria is to provide energy in the form of ATP. Yes, आप जब खाना खाते हैं या आप जब सोते हैं या कोई भी काम करते हैं तो आपकी बॉडी के अंदर जो एनर्जी आती है that comes from the mitochondria. Okay, sometimes in an animal cell a tail is present that is considered as the flagellum, but most of the time it is not present. It is only present in some animals. The major difference in the animal cell is the centrioles are present. And when the cells are going to be divided, these centrioles are divided into the opposite poles, and it's going to work in the, you're going to get the idea of the centrioles in the mitosis and the meiosis lecture. So in this lecture you just have considered that it's cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, and Golgi apparatus is present in the animal cell. Okay, now we're going to talk about the plant cell. As the plants are also living, so plant also contain a solution which is called as the cytoplasm, and the cytoplasm provide active site at the biochemical site for the reaction to perform. Different organelle is going to perform reaction in it. The endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi apparatus, and the mitochondria. There's only difference in between the plant cell and animal cell. The plant cell having an outer layer of the cell is called as the cell wall, whereas the outer layer of cell in the cell, animal cell is the cell membrane, whereas in case of the plant cell, the outer layer is called as the cell wall, which provides support, which provides shape, which provides strength to the plant, and which also help plant from bursting. आपको ये सेल वॉल जो होती है प्लांट को बस्टिंग से बचाती है, प्लांट को शेप प्रोवाइड करती है, सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड करती है और स्ट्रेंथ प्रोवाइड करती है. Then the inner layer would be the cell membrane. The function of the cell membrane would be the same. The function of the mitochondria would be the same, and there are no centrioles are present in the plant cell. And another difference is that is visible in the pink arrow, and that is the chloroplast. Because the plants perform the process of photosynthesis, and photosynthesis is the process through which plants can make their own food. So the chloroplast is an organelle in which a pigment called as chlorophyll, these are all the chloroplast. Chloroplast is an organelle in which the chlorophyll is present, so it performs the process of photosynthesis. Let's have a look on the theory now. So hopefully I have explained all the things. So this is here the nucleus, the function of the nucleus is written because it contains the genetic material which controls all the activities of the cell. Okay, one thing more, the solution in the nucleus or the fluid in the cell is called as the cytoplasm, whereas the fluid in the nucleus is called as the nucleoplasm. See, there's a fluid in the nucleus as well, and that is called as nucleoplasm. And one major thing that I have missed, there are many smaller vacuoles in the animal cell, and there are the one large vacuole in the plant cell. And the function of the vacuole is to store food and water and salts. The plant cell vacuole is basically the semi-permeable. It contains sugar, it contains salts, so that's why it is also called as the sap vacuole. So this is how the plant's gonna store much amount of water in their bodies. Okay, let's back into the theory. The nucleus is surrounding by a membrane. As I said that the nucleus having a membrane is called as the nuclear membrane, and a dark staining region is called as the nucleolus. When we're going to talk about the solution or the fluid in the cytoplasm in the cell is called as the cytoplasm, or you may define it as the portion between the cell surface membrane and the nucleus is called as the cytoplasm. It is a gel-like substance and it is composed of water and dissolved solutes, and it contained many different organelles. Organelles are the smallest structures which are present inside the cells. So the function of the cytoplasm is basically it provides site for many chemical reactions in the cells. And the cell membrane, which is called as the plasma membrane, selective permeable membrane, or the partially permeable membrane, it is made up of lipids, proteins, and carbohydrates. Major amount of lipids, and then carbohydrates, and then proteins. It is a thin membrane, whereas the cell wall is a thick membrane. So there's another difference between the cell wall and the cell membrane. It allows some substances to pass through it, and its function is to allow substances to enter or leaving the cell. Ribosomes are the small rounded structures, which are some of them are attached to the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and some of them are freely floating in the cytoplasm, and their function is to make protein. Endoplasmic reticulum is are of two types. They are the interconnected channels basically, and smooth is help in the function of the formation of the fat, steroids. Steroids are basically the hormones. You also gonna study about them in the next lectures and the upcoming lectures, and it helps in the detoxification of harmful substances. And the rough endoplasmic reticulum helps in the protein synthesis. Now we're going to talk about the mitochondria. It is a oval or the sausage shaped. It's just like a some sort of the shape of the mitochondria is sausage shaped organelle. Its function, it's also called as mitochondria is also named as the powerhouse of the cell because it provides power to all of the organelles that is present in the cell. So it produces energy in the form of ATP. ATP, the full form of the ATP is basically adenosine triphosphate. When we respire aerobically, food substances are broken down or oxidized, and energy is basically released. And this energy is used by the cell to perform the different cell activities such as growth. We grow, when we reproduce, the energy is used, and in that processes the energy comes from the mitochondria. Cell wall is basically the thick, whereas the cell membrane were thin, and the cell wall of the plant cell is made up of cellulose. It is a polymer of a glucose. Polymer means many glucose molecules combine to form cellulose. It provides shape. This was the function that I have already discussed. Okay, the chloroplast is basically found in the plant leaf, and in the plant leaf there are the palisade mesophyll cells in where the chloroplast is present, and in the chloroplast chlorophyll pigment is present. And the magnesium mineral ion basically is used to make chlorophyll. वैक्यूल के बारे में बात कर लेते हैं. एनिमल्स में बहुत सारे स्मॉलर वैक्यूल्स होते हैं टू स्टोर फूड एंड वाटर, whereas the plants having the large vacuole. And the sap vacuole is basically vacuole in which the sugar, mineral salts, and amino acids are stored or dissolved in water, are absorbed in it. ठीक है. And the largest subvacuole membrane is basically, as I said, that the permeable membrane or the selective permeable membrane. That's why it is also called as tonoplast. So that's why plants do not lose water. Plants turgid क्यों रहते हैं? क्योंकि इनके पास sap vacuole होता है. There is a little bit difference between the animal cell and the plant cell. The difference only is centrioles are absent in the plant cell, whereas present in the animal cell. Chloroplast is present in the plant cell and absent in the animal cell. If we're going to talk about the bacterial cell. Bacterial cell is having a cell wall. The function is going to be the same, provide shape, strength, and support. It having a cell membrane at the partially permeable membrane. It's also having a solution that is called as the cytoplasm. It is also having a DNA and having an extracircular DNA which is called as the plasmid. In bacterial cell, the difference is that they having the extracircular DNA which is called as plasmid. And in the center, the DNA is present and it does not have any sort of membrane. And the ribosomes are also present, which is called as which helps in the protein synthesis, and a tail-like structure which is named as the flagellum, which helps in movement. And these are the ciliated cells are the pili, which helps in the movement as well. And the cell wall is basically of the bacterial cell is made up of peptidoglycan. Yes, you heard me right. The terminology might be difficult for you from the start, so please try to revise it again and again. Microscopic single cell organisms हैं. So as I said, the sum of organisms are the unicellular. So bacteria is a unicellular organism. It contains a cell wall that made up of peptidoglycan. It is also contains cytoplasms and ribosomes. Ribosomes function of the ribosomes is protein synthesis. This is the function of the cell wall, and the bacterial cells contain extracircular DNA. Its function is to contain genes that carry genetic information. आपके फादर कौन है, आपके मदर कौन है, आपके बाल किससे मिलते जुलते हैं, नाक किससे मिलता जुलता है, ये सारी जेनेटिक इन्फॉर्मेशन है. आपकी हाइट किस पे चली गई है. So these are all sorts of the genetic information to help the process for the survival and the reproduction of the bacterium. And the flagellae and pili, these are the pili, the hair-like structures, and the tail-like structure, a large hair, the large tail-like structure that is named as the flagellum, and these small structures are named as the pili or pili. They are help in the locomotion, that means they help in the movement. That's all about it. Hopefully you get all the points. If you did not yet, please make sure to watch it again, and make sure to comment, and make sure to like, to share with specifically with those who are doing A levels or O levels and who are having difficulty in getting the ideas. So I will catch you in another video. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.